right, so welcome back to Leches, episode 5. Yours truly, Radimus, aka Ray. I'm gonna add a name every time we go live. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, you know what it is. So the God, Renzmatic, Renzo, whatever floats your boat, we do what it do.
We wait on you, Ray.
BC. Here again, episode 5. What up?
All right,
Word.
So yeah, guys, welcome back. Previously, when you last saw our episode, we did the 96 drafts, and from then we were tallying votes. We placed, we spread it out all over all our social media pages to vote for who had the best team of the 96 draft. And I think Brandon here is going to read off the results. So yeah, Brandon, so somebody has to buy somebody chicken sandwich, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I'm not the winner here, so I'll be paying. So yeah, Ray had the dominant lead here, and then I came in second, and then Zoe third. And man, it was a good experience. I think Ray had the Jay-Z, Biggie, bias. Bad boy East Coast.
Sick of
it was hard to stop.
Baby.
Listen, the South had something to say, and y'all had no love for Death Row.
I ain't got no love for Lauren, Nas, Dilla. Roots, come on, man.
Hey, well, you know what? I think it worked out because I don't know about you guys, but I've never had the Popeye chicken sandwich, so like the stars kind of aligned here for me. So.
Oh yeah, when we go officially live, all three of us together, we'll have those ready with some Tres Leches desserts on deck. You know what I mean?
All right, so Renz, how about you let us know what's going on with episode 5? I'm about to let our guest in the digital room.
All right, excellent. So. What up, family? So tonight we have a special guest here, good homie, actually me and Ray. So we'll go a little bit further, but we have a good guest here, Kalani Caraballo, founder and creator of Street Zines Fanzine, as well as Dummy Comics. So we're going to get some insight of him as far as how he came about the publication, the ins and outs, some of the highlights, as well as his experience in the comic book world as well. So hustler, motivator right here, going to be a good time tonight.
All right, so he should be joining us there. That's the man, the myth, the legend right there. It's Kalani. I think the audio's still connecting. Kalani, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. Enjoying some nice coffee roast, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That's the PG version. We told them not to say what it really is, so we got the kids watching.
Oh, do we really have kids watching?
No. He said no as he took the hit. Like
what we see.
All right, so Kalani, thank you for joining us on the Tres Leches podcast, man.
Man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was good running into you yesterday, man. I know we met a while back, like years ago. I think it was to exchange like a mixtape or a CD or something. And I think you were like in Carteret or Kearney at the time, but this is going back like a while ago. So fast forward to 2020, it looks like you've been doing a couple things since we last crossed paths. So why don't you tell us what's going on with the? Hold on, I got the prop right here. The Street Dreams magazine.
Hey, there you go.
Tell us what's going on with this right here.
Yeah, we definitely repping it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, that's what I like to see.
Tonight, my brother.
I mean, did you guys even like explain how like I know you Radimus and Renzo, like I know these two gentlemen. I've been speaking to these two gentlemen since I was like maybe like 15, 16 years old on the LatinRapper.com message board and the Cuban Link message board and the Fat Joe message board. So I remember you guys since and you guys knew me since I was like a teenage rapper and everything. So
I think you were always one of the youngest ones, if not the youngest one on that message board.
I was. It was me. I know my guy Steve Ortiz. You guys know him. Ortiz. That's my guy. He was like my age too, but I think it was like us and like Scatterbrain, a couple like other people scattered. But since then, man, you know, I've done different things. I've done music. I did like a little bit of like radio. Up till now, I've been doing comic books, and then as of recent, I've done my independent hip hop fanzine called Street Dreams.
Definitely, and just like let's give it hindsight because you know we're a little older now. Like before MySpace, before Facebook, and all message boards was really the social media thing. Like we exposed people, you know, and we made it. Like,
I wasn't gonna say anything about that, but
hey,
nah, man, listen, man. I got so much music because of you guys when I was a kid, man. I got so much fucking music from you guys, man. You know, then doing the League of Extraordinary Bootleggers and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I do remember the CD that you did cop for me, Radamiz.
I don't know if it was one of the instrumental joints. Was it an instrumental joint?
It was a Terror Squad instrumental CD. I remember you came to my crib and picked
I still have it. I don't throw out music. I have it because right now I think if I was to try to Google it, I wouldn't find it. It had instrumentals.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, nah.
Hard to find instrumentals.
Yeah, that shit is funny, man. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So just for anybody watching, like we go back like a while, and it's always been rooted in hip hop. Whether it's agreements, disagreements, but it's always been. I think the common denominator here has always been like we're all fans of Big Pun. So
and Terror Squad and the old Terror Squad.
Yeah, OTS 1.0, and then so fast forward to now. Once I saw that you had the magazine going, right? So like like my mind, I immediately think of like you know, we've had like the Source magazine, Double XL, but it's like over the years we've had all these other publications. So when it comes to Street Dreams, right? Like, what made you say, I want to do a magazine? And is there anything about those other publications that were influences, or do you feel like, you know, 2020 is missing a hip hop magazine?
Well, I think what had happened was, as far as like the Source and Double XL, I mean, you know, growing up, you know, before, you know, the internet and before like, you know, the blog sites and everything. You know, that's how you found out about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It was by reading magazines and you know, I remember the 5 mic system and you know, just the whole thing about like the Source and then Double XL. But as far as the, you know, Street Dreams, originally, the idea I had originally thought about doing like a podcast, but I just felt like it would have been too much work, and it was hard to balance that and doing the comic books at the same time. But to make for Street Dreams, it was something that, like I said, it festered in my mind for a little bit too. So it was something that I had in my mind for a while. I was gonna do a podcast, and then, you know, I decided not to. And then there's these 2 comic fanzines that you know I'm a frequent reader of, and that's Bubbles and Strangers. And you know, so I've been like I was reading a lot of those, and I was like, you know, enjoying the content. And that's when it kind of hit me to do I was like, yo, this would be dope if it was hip hop, you know, because they're talking about old comic books. They're talking about like underground comics and, you know, shit that's exclusive in Japan and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted something that had some type of commentary for hip hop. And to be honest, I didn't think about like the Source and Double XL. I didn't think about those things. I just really just wanted to just make a fanzine about hip hop and, you know, and just basically more mixtapes, because that was just the thing that, like, you know, on the outside, you know, of doing comics and stuff, like that's what I was spending my free time doing, was just scouring the internet for mixtapes. And, you know, I'm just one of those people that believes there's a story behind everything, and, you know, things don't get made for no reason, and, you know, there's things behind them, and I just wanted to hear the stories behind some of my favorite mixtapes.
And you're also documenting it. You're like making it official by putting it both available in print, and this is also, is it already, I mean, I would imagine it's already available digitally, right? Because it's harder to make it. Like,
yeah, man, you know, originally the idea, I didn't want to like make it digital at first, But then I was getting hit up by different people from like different countries and stuff, and they didn't want to pay that exorbitant shipping fee. Yeah. So it was like it was like a creator friend that I know, somebody that had interviewed me. They lived in the States and then they moved to Japan, and they were like, yo, you know, I live in Japan. So that's when I was like, yo, let me figure out how to do this. And I ended up just sending them a PDF, and, you know, and I decided, you know what, let me make it accessible. Let me put it up. But mainly I wanted it to stay physical. I know I don't want to do like a website or anything. I just want to keep it strictly to the fanzine and the physical product.
Definitely. And I know you've been mentioning fanzine a lot. So for the listeners, can you give us insight what the difference on outright saying a magazine versus a fanzine as you're labeling this is?
Okay, so like a fanzine is it's defined as like a DIY magazine. So it's defined as a DIY magazine, and more times than not, they are centered around one subject, and you know, or behind some type of fandom. So fanzines, they're very popular in punk and hardcore culture. So for hip hop, there have been hip hop zines in the fanzines in the past. Like that's how like the Source started off as photocopied zine. You know, Mad Dog, all these different magazines. You know, they all started off at one point in time as a fanzine, and then they graduated into legit magazines. But for me, this is personally, I call it it is a fanzine because everything that I am writing about in it, I am a fan of. There's no like industry person paying me to write about a project, or anybody telling me to really write about anything. It's me, having a genuine interest in wanting to hear a story.
Yeah, that's why I was grateful when I didn't see any of the rainbow hair braided rappers in this publication.
Oh yeah.
So,
no. Like that was the thing too, man. I didn't want to make this. I didn't want to be like a gossip magazine. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's people in the magazine that they're telling stories about certain artists and problems that they had. But aside from that, it's stuff that people already kind of knew. But as far as that, I'm not talking to mumble rappers. I feel like hip hop right now is in this like really interesting place where, we're still deeply rooted in nostalgia, and things are still being uncovered, and still being loved, and there's subsets of everything, and there's stuff that people haven't heard, and all that is like coming to light now, and all this thing, nostalgia, it's a big thing, Yeah,
because the power of the internet now, it's not like you said, we're not just relying on major publications to dictate to us what's hot, what's not, right?
Absolutely.
Now you like the internet levels the playing field, so it makes it so that somebody, ironically, who wants to, I don't even know who still buys the Source Mag in 2020, but the same way you can get access to that is the same way you can get access to like your fanzine, right? Like it levels the playing field. The type of content that can be known. Like you're talking about a lot of like acts in here. I mean, I like some of the I don't want to give it away completely, but like the ladies are well represented in here, and it's not even done in like the way where it's just like just the sexual type of way, and like you showed love to the ladies in here. I dug the Big Pun snippet. I won't go into that, but you know what I'm saying. It's in the interviews. Now and you did the interviews all by yourself? Like you don't have like interns, nothing? Like this is all you?
Yeah, nah, like the whole magazine, I did every interview. I put everything together. I reached out to everybody. As far as like, and then the only thing that I really didn't do was the cover, as far as like the art, but as far as like the words and everything around it, I ended up doing that. But so like I did a lot. I curated a mixtape for it. I did the mixtape cover, so the only thing that I really didn't do was the drawing on the cover. But that was Dave Proch from Philadelphia that did that.
Oh, Philly, all right, showing sorry.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Definitely. Now I know the highlight, at least for issue 1, was Doo Wop. And I was curious, like how were you able to even secure that, that interview, for one?
So to be honest, man, dude, everything that's in that magazine, everybody that's in it, I literally just DM'd them on Instagram. I hate to sell it, like make it sound like 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 some people have looked at it and they've been like, wow, like yo, you got some crazy interviews, and they were like, yo, how'd you do it? And I was like, I DM'd them on Instagram.
The old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way, man. Like,
and I know I got Ito in it, and Ito I actually hit up through Twitter, and he like responded really quick. And I'll tell you this much, I COVID-19, man, was as much as it's been bad for the world and everything, it made getting people in this magazine a lot easier because people were home and had nothing really like much to do, so people could take about 20 to 30 minutes to an hour to have a conversation. Yeah. So.
Nah, and that's what's up though, because especially on the DM and is on a humble, like, because I definitely peeped the Doo Wop interview, but one thing I never really thought about, because during that time, of course, you had the East West Coast thing going on, but we always saw it on the perspective of the actual artist. Yeah. But hearing from the perspective of the DJ, that you DJing and you in hot spots now, because you from New York on the West Coast. So just hearing his insight, especially with the whole situation with Outlaws and everything.
Oh yeah. So like that was one of the questions that when I started thinking about doing the magazine and the podcast and all that stuff, Doo Wop was always the name on the top of the list of the people that I wanted to interview the most. So everybody else could have basically like told me to go fuck myself, but Doo Wop I cared about a lot. That I wanted that interview the most. Not that the other interviews I wasn't happy with, because of course everybody that I wanted in the magazine participated in the magazine. So
yeah.
But as far as Doo Wop, hearing these stories and asking him about the West Coast, that was one of those things that really interested me, because I knew he had a song with King's Son, but it's labeled as Son Dula on the mixtapes. So he had a song dissing Tupac, and it was, it wasn't really Doo Wop dissing Tupac, but it was King's Son dissing Doo Wop. But Doo Wop is like produced it and then was doing like background hype ups and all that. So with that, I was interested in that because I started deep diving mixtapes and listening to stuff from 95, stuff from 96. And I was hearing kind of like the commentary and, when he did 95 Live through the whole thing, before everybody freestyles, he has the soundbite, is New York in the house, So I was like, yo, why were you saying that? So I always, like I said, so when it came down to like asking him about the East Coast, West Coast, I was like, yo, we always heard it from the rapper's perspective and we never got to hear it from like the DJs or like, the labels and all of that. So it was dope hearing that story from him as well.
Yeah. And then
why specifically Doo Wop?
Because you know what? The name of the magazine is Street Dreams, and the reason why it's named Street Dreams is because Doo Wop had a mixtape called Street Dreams. And when I discovered TapeKings.com, Street Dreams was like the #1 mixtape for like a bunch of weeks, but I could never find it. So I could never find the mixtape at all in any mixtape spot or anything. So I ended up finding it one day, like on like the most random place. Like it was New Year's Day, and it was like, I think it was like 2002, and I was in like the projects in Brooklyn. And we were leaving the projects because it was like a family member's house. And we spent like New Year's Eve there and slept over. But there was a kid, like a little kid selling bootlegs. And he had like movies and mixtapes. And I ended up finding Street Dreams in there. So it was just that, just that spirit of like, I'm a collector and I'm a completist. So, I had every tape that he dropped in, 2001 except Street Dreams. So it was like a sought after.
That completed the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. Exactly. So that was the one that like, it was hard to get, and then I finally got it, and it was in the most random place in the world. It, it had a story to it. So that's, why the magazine's named Street Dreams, and just that, and Doo Wop was one of my, my favorite mixtape DJs, aside from like Clue and K Slay. And, Doo Wop to me just, I don't know. I always felt that he was like, he was underground and he's legendary. And, he was also one of my favorite rappers. So, it was a lot going into it. It was a lot of just nostalgia for me, just things that I loved. I gravitated to his mixtapes. They were the perfect mix of underground and, commercial stuff as well.
Definitely.
And even now, so like, so this is issue 1. Like, what's I guess like long term, like, is this like a limited run? Is this not like this is one of so infinity forever? Like, what's your mindset now that you've gone through the process of doing one? You know, like what's your
I
vision?
mean, I could tell you now that issue 2 is as far as interview wise is done. I'm trying to make it a quarterly thing. You know, at least every 2 to 3 months. That's the goal. Really, it's, you know, it depends on how much material and things that people let me acquire. You know, it's really up to you know, people to actually want to read it, and then it's also to people want to, you know, it has to be, you know, people want to participate in it. You know, so and it's also, you know, also doing the legwork and, you know, discovering things and listening to music and, you know. So, you know, that the plan, like I said, so the plan is to have it every 2 to 3 months. It is feasible, you know, so, you know, that's the plan, you know. So I'm going to go as long as people are reading it and, you know, people want to be in it. You know?
Yeah, and it's quality work, you know. Like I said, I'm reading some of the stuff. I didn't go through everything yet, but I'm just reading the stuff. You definitely did your homework, you know, with a lot of the items. And like you say, the people you're interviewing that you're truly fans of, you're not just doing it, you know, just go through the motions. And it's kind of equates to, because even with the Doo Wop interview, and then I'm going to give everything up, but like, you could tell he's just going, he really speaks his mind. You could tell he don't really do the politics. Because, you know, even when you was talking about the whole Big L situation, when he was talking about, when L was talking about the sign of Rockefeller, and you asked him, you know, well, how do you think his career would have turned out? And he would say, you know, probably would not have been that big of a move for him, other than maybe launching off to something else, and compared it to like the MOP situation, even with Mobb Deep with G Unit. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that honesty, because you could simply say, oh yeah, he would have been the biggest act on Rockefeller after Jay. You gotta say, he might have did some moves, but that wouldn't have been like the ultimate launching pad for him. You know?
Yeah, I mean, hearing these stories, you know, you're hearing about your favorites, and you're hearing it from someone that, you know, got to breathe the same air as these guys, you know. So it was crazy hearing that. I mean, you know, just as it's crazy for you to read it, it was just as crazy for me to hear it. And I was like, you know, I respected it because, I don't know, you know, it's that question, it's that thing that we'll never know the answer to, you know. So I enjoyed his perspective, and I'm glad that he was honest about it, because he could have just gave me a regular, you know, bullshit PC answer and you know, got the interview over with, you know. But he actually like, you know, took his time to do it, and you know, he took time out of his day, and you know, it wasn't like an hour-long conversation. It was almost like a 2-hour-long conversation that interview was, you know. And you know, he was towards the end, he was like, man, you know, he was like, yo, you know your shit. And he's like, I'm happy to have this conversation, because he's like, yo, you know, I'm not talking to someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. And, you know, I'm mentioning dates to him. I'm mentioning tapes. I'm mentioning like, yo, you dropped this after this. And he's like, yeah, like, yo, like you really like know your shit. So, you know, that was, you know, to me, that let me know that at least I didn't give him a bullshit interview, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And now also, as we were mentioning here too, that you also dabble in the comic book world with dummy comics. So tell us a little bit, you know, about that venture as well.
So I started writing and publishing my own comics back in 2016. I create with my fiance, who is my editor, and she's also my co-CEO. So she, you know, helps me with everything.
In-house.
You know, yeah.
You better shout her out.
Yeah, shout out to Chrissy. You know, she's watching. She's downstairs watching. So, you know.
Okay.
You're about to get the "that's what I thought" text.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, so like kind of like with the rap and you know, street jeans, you know, it all started with an idea, and you know, I just, you know, just did the grind work to make it happen.
Now, you being Puerto Rican and, you know, being in an industry that's primarily white, like what has been your experience going through something like the comic book conventions and so forth? Like, you know.
I mean, you know, it's like being a person of color in anything. You know? It has it has its good moments and it has its really terrible moments. And you know, we've done. I spoke about this kind of like on another podcast too. Like we've done events where Black events. You know, we've dealt with Black events where they're great and they're awesome and they work. And then there's sometimes where we get denied from Black events because, the characters aren't Black or we don't have enough Black characters in the, So, just as much as we deal with, different like discrimination and things from white people, we also kind of get it from our own as well.
Yeah.
But, but like I was saying, it's kind of like just like I said, being a person of color and anything. You're gonna deal with people that don't want to read anything, and then we have a story that's kind of like it's inspired by Christopher Dorner called Manifesto, and it's about a cop that his family gets killed, and he's seeking revenge, and it's he's uncovering that people that had to do with his family's demise were people that were in his department. So people look at me and they see that, and then they look at me and they think, oh, is this political? Is this is this just gonna be a slaughter fest of police officers and things? So it's like a little bit of people judging the book by the cover, and then it has its good days and it has its bad days, but I do love it.
Now, was this like your brainchild as far as the first comic through Dummy Comics, the Manifesto itself, or?
No. So the first book that we put out was called Home, and Home is it's like a horror story. It's about me and my best friend growing up. So my best friend's house growing up was haunted. So I just wrote about all his experiences and the things that he told me that happened.
Well, can you give us one? I love scary stuff that's gonna make me regret hearing it when I fall asleep later tonight.
Nah, so there's a part in the book, and it was one of the experiences that I experienced at his house. One day I had walked into the house, and I walked into the living room, and I thought I was talking to my friend and his little sister. But instead, I was talking to the doppelganger of my friend and his sister. And, I'm having a full-on conversation, and these doppelgangers are just looking at me, and they're not saying anything. And then 2 seconds later, my friend and his little sister come to the doorway, and they're like, yo, who are you talking to? And I was like, yo, like,
That's like that movie that came out. That what's his name? Jordan Peele. What was that movie he did where they had the doppel like?
That's Us. Yeah, that was. I think Us. Is it?
Yeah, Us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but this came out before that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even. Yeah, but wow, that's wild, man.
Yeah. So that actually happened to me, and that was really like, I wrote that into the book, and that's one of my favorite parts of like the whole book. But I've done 3 issues of that so far, and same thing with Manifesto. We've also done 3 issues of that also.
Okay, now are these comics like more like limited series, or like how are you going about it?
So right now, being that Home and Manifesto, they have 3 issues each. So we were doing like single issues up to a certain point, and we got to a certain print run that we just kind of sold everything, and we were kind of like, yo, now let's put them in a compendium, sell them all as one. And sometimes we'll do shows and people will just buy number 1, or they'll buy 1 and 2, but they won't buy 3, So we decided, we had printed them enough that we were like, all right, let's put them as a compendium now, and now people can own it as a collection. So that's what we've been doing with Home and Manifesto. But they're 4-issue limited series, so the 4th issues are supposed to be coming out between this year and next year. So.
Oh, nice. Now, was it a little bit of a push, I guess a delay with the whole COVID situation going on, or?
Nah. So we've had the first 3 issues done since last year, but this year we had plans of doing events. We were going to be going out to Boston. We had some Philly stuff. We had, just local events and everything in New Jersey and New York. And all that stuff kind of got got shut down because of COVID. So that's kind of where, that basically led me to Street Dreams, because now, the comic stuff is, the bread and butter of the comics is, appearing at conventions and doing store pop-ups and things. So, once that got eliminated, I had a lot of time in the world, and that's what kind of led me to doing Street Dreams.
Got you. Now, me and B-Stacks, we were talking the other day. Now, we were talking, how we look at comics, and you kind of mentioned a little bit with Manifesto, how you were inspired, by it. But like we look at X-Men, for example, we look at Magneto, we look at Xavier, as far as like the Malcolm and Martin scenario. Now, how are your characters? Cause I know you were drawing like kind of parallel into a true story. What characters would relate to the real life individuals here?
As far as Manifesto, Manifesto is inspired by Christopher Dorner. Mm-hmm. So, I was very interested in that when it was happening.
Can you go into detail who that actually is?
No, not. Oh, okay. So Christopher Dorner was a LA police officer in California, and he was let go. He was fired, but he was fired in a roundabout way. He felt that a lot of people around him had conspired against him, and different things like that. And he went on a murderous rampage to try to change things in the LAPD.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you were telling me about it a little before, when we talked, back on Monday, it drew me back to the Chappelle 846 special, because remember in his manifesto he named Chappelle in there, almost like being inspired by Chappelle. Because for people who don't know, so he was a black cop essentially.
He was a black cop. Yeah.
So it was the random, okay, we gotta get the suspect, arrest him, and he felt that the officer with him was too aggressive.
Yeah, because he said that she kicked that the officer had kicked a handcuffed person that was handcuffed.
Yeah, pretty much. He was punching and kicking while I was already handcuffed, so it was like overkill at that point. So he filed a complaint against her.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
As you know, with the blue code, it turned to now you're against us. So he got fired, and he went through every legal measure to get back into the good graces, and he said no. And then once he saw that system was flawed, in his head, well, I need to break that system.
Yeah, and he went after people and family members of people that had things to do with it.
Yeah, I think Ab-Soul actually did. I think Ab-Soul did a song where he used the artwork of Christopher Dorner. And Ab-Soul, Ab-Soul's my favorite guy of the new of the current generation. But yeah, so you know what song I'm talking about. I think he either used the artwork, or was it an actual concept that he?
So he used the picture, and then he put like the face was like a skull.
Yeah,
I remember I know the cover art that you're talking about really well. I don't remember what it was too, but I know that I think he did call the song Christopher Dorner too.
He did, I remember. Yeah. It was dope song, dope. Yeah.
And Ab-Soul, for anybody listening, Ab-Soul is he's part of TDE. Right. My favorite member of TDE. I enjoy him a little bit more than Kendrick Lamar. So I just want to throw that in there.
Oh yeah. Okay. I like Ab-Soul a lot. He's like the spitter of the group. I like him.
Yeah, he's Thanos with words, bro.
Yeah, man. That's a crazy gentleman right there.
Definitely. All right, so we know that you're working on now next quarterly issue, as you're mentioning now, and then of course with the comics with the fourth issues. Are there any other new concepts you dabbling with, or you kind of like drawing it back a little bit, just given the current climate right now?
Well, my artist Frank Castro, he's currently working on issue 4 of the Manifesto. Earlier in the year, we paid him up front to, complete Manifesto, Home, and a couple of other things that we had planned as well. So those things are still in motion. As far as when they'll be out, that we're still kind of debating on right now. I guess at this point right now, what we're kind of waiting for is to kind of see what's going on with comic conventions and appearing and stuff. But as far as that right now, it's kind of I wouldn't say on the back burner. It's just right now it's kind of like the energy right now is kind of just been kind of focused around Street Dreams at this point. But the comics, you know, that can pick up whenever again, you know. So
for sure,
Kalani,
for sure.
Have you ever done Comic-Con?
Nah, we did the closest thing that we've done to Comic-Con, we did C2E2 in Chicago. And you know, we didn't have the best experience there. But you know, that's been as far as like the Comic-Con level thing that we've done is C2E2.
Okay. All right, so so you got that going on, but as far as the Street Dream, I know you said you work on a quarterly issue. Can you give us like some insight of who might be on this issue that so you know people watching can kind of get geared towards?
Let the streets know.
Man. Yeah, you know what? I want to, man. I would like to say it, but
I
don't know, man. Nah, not Ja Rule.
He got Cuban Link.
Nah. I'll tell you this much, man. There's some people that are currently doing some pretty cool things that are in this they're in issue 2. So if you've seen, you know, so with issue 1, we kind of reached out to some of the people that we talked about in the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of told them like, yo, you know, we wrote about you. And, you know, a lot of people became interested. So it is a lot of people that are doing some current things. Yeah. I gotta keep it a little right now.
So Kalani, let me ask you though, for all the good outreach that happened, did anyone, even if you don't gotta say names, did anyone give you a hard time that you're probably not gonna ever try to reach out to again?
Oh no, you know, I can tell you one person that gave me a hard time, and that was Ron G. You know, Mixed King Ron G.
Ron
G.
Ron G.
So like we talked on the phone, and I was like, yo, I'm trying to get you in this magazine, and he was like, all right, yo. He was like, yo. He was like, do you have any physical product that I could see? And I was like, yo, this is gonna be the first issue, and blah blah blah. Like, yo, we had like a whole conversation, and he just was like, not even with it. Gave me his number. I hit him up like a couple times trying to get him in. I don't think he was with the idea. So that was it. But that was it. But everybody else is pretty cool about it. So
that's what's up. That's what's up.
No, I'm glad it wasn't like a long laundry list, man. But
no.
you know, like
no laundry list at all, man. And you know.
So right now, so I know you said you're aiming quarterly. So right now, like then I'm forgetting what was. So it's about to be August. So then the next one, I mean, do you think you're tentatively going? What are you looking at? Like October? You going for the end of the year?
Well, nah, I'm going for September. So September is going to be the next one that's coming out because all my interviews.
Oh, you're doing it at the beginning. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm aiming for the after what is that, Labor Day?
Labor Day. That's in September.
Yeah. So after Labor Day, I always get them confused with Memorial Day and Labor Day. Yeah. But yeah. So after Labor Day, that's what I'm looking to drop this one. All my interviews are done. I just have to transcribe everything and put it all together. I have you guys in it too, so you guys are gonna be in it, so that's gonna be kind of tight too.
There we go.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, I spoke to Renz about it. I think I'm gonna change the idea though, Renz, because I remember I had originally said hip hop movies, but then something else kind of came up that I think would be sick. So I know you and Radimus picked up the mag. If you look at Canal Street, you know, where I had Ito and others, you know,
they listed their favorites.
Yeah, they listed their favorite mixtapes. So instead of mixtapes, I think I'm gonna do Rap City freestyles. Yo, you guys just got list off your favorite Rap City freestyles.
Okay.
I like that angle. No, for sure. No, I mean, and shout out to Lex, man, not Big Lex. I'm talking about Lex 718.
We talking Queens Lex.
Yeah. New York Rhyme Exchange Lex. That's my guy, man. I love that dude.
Yeah. Yo, always showed love when I was in Queens a couple years back. You know what I mean? Took me down to the Lower East Side, drove me around. You know what I mean? Some freestyles. Dope dude.
I remember back in the Latin rapper days when I was younger and I wasn't big on Mobb Deep. I used to go back and forth with him. I'm like, Mobb Deep, blah, 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 like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he with the war, that.
I used to go back and forth with him when I was younger, and now I realize the error of my ways. Sir.
Yeah, man. Nah,
blasphemous, Ray.
I love Lex, man.
I gotta tell it all. You know what I mean?
Our mom will come after you, man.
Nah, man. I love Lex, man, because back when I had a radio show, Lex came through there, and then there was a point in time where I used to see Lex in New York all the time. We used to kind of roll with same people that we knew similar people and stuff. So especially guys like Debut. And,
Dave Butter, he's yeah, I got him on Facebook. Yeah,
man. Yeah, I love that guy too, man.
Yeah, it's a whole laundry list of us from that corner of the internet. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a good corner though, man. That was a fun corner.
Hey, that kept me occupied during a lot of my college classes. So.
I can only imagine, dude. I was in high school during that time, so that shit bugs me.
Told you guys, he's the younger one.
Yeah. It was definitely a coming of age moment.
yeah, hell yeah, man. I mean, even this is a coming of age moment because, you guys knew me when I was a bright-eyed 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm 32 and shit.
Yeah,
Crazy.
That shit is wild. It's a wild, coming of age moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then, Renzo, I don't know if you have anything else, but so right now, anybody that wants to cop this magazine that I have in my hand right here, throw out your socials. How does anybody go about getting one of these?
All right, we got our store on Big Cartel, so it's Street Dreams Fanzine. That's FANZINE.BigCartel.com. That's where you can get the physical product as well as the digital product. We're on Instagram as Street Dreams Fanzine. I have a page also, K.Caraballo. That's CARABALLO. And Dummy Comics is also on IG as well. So it's Dummy Comics, DUMMIECOMICSINC. That's where you can find all the comic book stuff and all the Street Dream stuff as well.
And don't worry, we'll add all that into the YouTube description because ain't nobody gonna remember all that spelling. You know what I mean?
We'll look out for you, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, man.
You know what I mean? But we always gonna make sure we get the sport black and brown, you know what I mean? We're gonna keep that love going for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, yo, thanks for coming through, man. Thanks for putting this together, man. The magazine's dope, bro. I like the fact that when I like the fact that when I go through it, it has a nostalgic feel. It reminds me of, like you said, things before the briberies seem to really come into play. So, so it feels very grassroots, and that's what I like about it. And again, it also comes with a nice mix that my car still has a CD player, so you damn right it's getting thrown in there. And,
hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to cars with CD players still.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Kalani, thanks for coming through, man. Guys, I don't know if you had anything else.
Yo, man, as a avid comic book fan and a hip hop fan, it's dope to just see you as an entity doing your own independent thing, combining both, man. Good luck to you, brother. It's my first time meeting you, so I'm gonna cop it tonight, and just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Definitely, man. I do thank you, man. And man, once you submit that payment, man, I'll definitely have that out to you by tomorrow, man, for sure.
All right, love. All right, we're gonna wrap.
And I thank you guys for having me on, man. Am I your first guest on here?
You are the first guest.
You are, man. You're the first one.
In-house. We kept it Jersey.
That's what I'm talking about. Your
first episode, our first interview.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of shows where I'm the first time guest, so I'm keeping that tradition going. So I like that, man.
Yeah, first guest, first issue, man, and for everybody watching, we're gonna post this obviously on our YouTube, Tres Leches Radio, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just Google it, you will find us. Like Brandon said, this will be uploaded within the next 24 hours. Thanks for tuning in, gentlemen. Again, if y'all had anything.
Rest in peace to the late great Malik B. My bad. So from the Roots, man, passed away yesterday, man. Really love, man.
And it's ironic because that was my grandmother's birthday. Who passed away. So rest in peace to Maxine, Darius, Jenkins, Thompson. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's aware. You know what I mean. So peace and love to everybody. Stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next ep.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Be easy, guys.
All right, yeah.